Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is 12 o'clock Newsbreak. In the local scene, the 909th Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary District Vehicle celebrated its first founding anniversary and induction and donning of newly appointed officers at the Albay Astrodome last week. A total of 25 newly appointed officers took oath and donned with rank by Provincial Administrator Divina Gracia Banyares, Auxiliary Commodore Eugene Chua, Auxiliary Captain Ulisa Chua, Auxiliary Captain Jonah Junella, and Auxiliary Captain Martin Lim. The new appointees were added to the existing 98 members of the PCGB officers and auxiliary district vehicle, and approximately there are a total of 29,527 PCGB officers and auxiliary in the Philippines, counting the additional 26 newly appointed members in March. In the event was the Albay board members, National Auxiliary Main Office Logistics, Coast Guard Auxiliary District Vehicle, 909th Coast Guard Auxiliary Squadron Albay, Coast Guard Auxiliary District Vehicle, National Auxiliary Main Office Logistics, and Coast Guard District Vehicle, along with other guests and visitors. The 909th Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary District Vehicle, including the new appointees, will continue its dedication and commitment according to rules and regulations of the Coast Guard and Coast Guard Auxiliary Service written in the PCGA Oath of Office. In other story, another Albayana beauty emerged victorious in the recently concluded Miss World Philippines pageant held Friday, July 19, 2024 at the SM MOA Arena in Pasay City. Jean Isabel Bilazano, representing the Bicol region, was crowned the Miss World Face Beauty Philippines 2024 and is set to compete in the same international competition this September in Taiwan. Apart from one of the most coveted awards in Miss World Philippines, the Bicolana Beauty Queen was also accorded special awards such as Miss Beauty with a Purpose, Miss Sporty Care, and Miss ProCap. The Bicolana Beauty Queen, and the only healthcare professional practicing speech-language pathology in the province of Albay, hailing from the municipality of Malilipot, earned the hearts of the netizens since her advocacy video, SLP in the Barrio, was spotted on various Miss World Philippines platforms, which earned her the special award, Miss Beauty with a Purpose. In the national scene, the Department of Foreign Affairs, DFA, declared on Sunday afternoon that the Philippines and China had arrived at a temporary arrangement for the rotation and resupply mission to BRP Sierra Madre at Ayungin, Second Thomas Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. The consensus was achieved during the discussions between the two nations during the 9th bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea in Manila, according to the DFA, which did not disclose any specifics. Prior to this, the DFA stated that during the bilateral consultation mechanism, China and the Philippines agreed to reduce regional tensions without prejudice to their respective positions. It further stated that during their meeting, Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Chen Xiaodong and Undersecretary of Foreign Affairs for the Philippines, Teresa Lazaro, had frank and constructive discussions. The WPS is the area of the South China Sea that is part of the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines, but almost the whole South China Sea is under Chinese sovereignty, with portions being disputed by Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, and the Philippines. The Arbitral Tribunal declared in 2016 that China's claims lacked legal support in favor of the Philippines. In other story, While wearing political attire is not permitted for attendees of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s third State of the Nation address, Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel announced on Sunday that he would be donning a protest barong with a mural that symbolizes the hope of the new generation. With the toga hood up front, Manuel claims that his attire conveys an alternative future envisioned by Filipino youth. According to him, this represents the aspiration of the younger generation to overcome the social evils that are pushing the nation toward greater crisis and even open warfare. The illustration of the feast symbolizing the unity of the youth to break free and fight back against the primordial danger of war and aggression imposed by the United States' provocation against its rival China is located at the backside of the barong, he said. In other news, calls for a ban on the industry that flourished under the Duterte government are being joined by business associations, economic think tanks, and political groups, adding to the swelling chorus of resistance to Chinese-run offshore gaming or gambling businesses operating in the Philippines. Opponents of the Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, contend that any supposed economic gains are overweighted by the detrimental effects this particular gambling business has on society. Makati Business Club, Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines, and Management Association of the Philippines issued a joint statement on Wednesday, stating that they fully support the Department of Finances and the National Economic and Development Authority's recommendations to outlaw POGOs. They said that in 2023, the POGO's share of the Philippines' GDP, the total value of all goods and services generated there over a specific period of time, was just 0.2%. They emphasized results from recent Senate hearings and NEDA's remarks that connected POGOs to detrimental externalities, highlighting specifically the role played by POGO personalities in crimes, including kidnapping, money laundering, and human trafficking, among others. And in the news outside the country, Russia announced on Sunday that it had ordered fighter jets into action to stop 2 U.S. strategic bomber planes from entering its territory by flying over the Barents Sea and the Arctic. The U.S. military claims that its regular flights over international waterways are carried out in neutral airspace and in compliance with international law. Moscow, however, has reacted to the drills with greater vigor in recent months. In June, it issued a warning that U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea may result in a direct military confrontation. Fighter planes were dispatched, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, to intercept air targets approaching the state border of the Russian Federation. And finally, in the news outside the country, after reports of an Israeli hit on an ammo warehouse deep in the south by Lebanese official media, the Israeli military stated on Sunday that it had targeted Hezbollah weapons storage sites throughout the night. Since October 7, when the Palestinian terrorist group attacked southern Israel, Hezbollah and Israeli forces have engaged in almost daily cross-border shooting in support of Hamas, resulting in a conflict in the Gaza Strip. According to a statement from the IDF, the Israeli Air Force struck 2 Hezbollah weapons storage facilities in southern Lebanon, containing rockets and additional weaponry. The village of Adlun is around 30 kilometers from the Israeli border, and Israeli enemy began a raid, according to Lebanon's state-run national news agency, and later, the agency reported the objective was an ammunition depot. And that's all for the 12 o'clock news break, July 22, 2024. We'll be right back tomorrow for more news updates. And thanks to our 12 o'clock news break writer, LJ Lurejo. And on the technical side, Todd Bodis. And of course, our provincial information officer, Mary Luduca Castillo. And under the supervision of our governor, Adzel Grex Lagman. I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.